start off today's mailbag, we've got a $5 super thanks from William Cook. William says, the frustrating aspect is that the Cowboys could have avoided scrambling in August for a corner and defensive tackle help. And you know what? I think William's absolutely right. This comment ties directly into the conversations we've been having since early in the offseason, when reports and projections floated around about whether the Cowboys might actually go out and add a defensive tackle or another corner. Jerry left the door cracked open. Steven hinted they had interest, but once again, it feels like the organization dragged its feet. Here's the thing. If you want real help, not patchwork, not a band-aid, not a let's hope this guy sticks kind of move, then you make those acquisitions in March and April. That's when impact players are available. You wait until August, and suddenly the list of viable options shrinks down to almost nothing. At that point, it's less about finding a solution and more about plugging holes and hoping it holds. And that's not where you want to be as a franchise that claims to be all in. And as always, just a quick reminder, every $5 super thanks or super chat gets you into our current raffle. This time around, it's for a Cowboys jersey of your choice during our preseason Week 2 watch party. So William, you're in. Next up, Austin Carey dropped a $2 super chat asking if it's even possible to fix the Cowboys' run defense this late in the game. He's not as worried about the corner spot. He's more focused on whether Dallas can plug that run defense hole. Honestly, it's tough. You can shuffle names around, but the free agent market doesn't give you much to work with right now. The top name, Christian Wilkins, is in his own complicated situation: injuries, off-the-field questions, and major uncertainty. After that, you're looking at guys like Linval Joseph or Raekwon Davis, or even trying to trade for another team's backup. That's not a fix. That's just recycling other teams' depth and hoping it upgrades yours. At this point, unless Dallas makes a shocking splash, which we all know is not their M.O., in August, you're basically left with crossing your fingers and hoping for internal improvement. That's concerning, but it's the reality of waiting until the last minute. Juan Ramos then asked if the Cowboys were to sign Stephon Gilmore, where would he play, outside or in the slot? That one's easy. Gilmore is an outside corner. Always has been. He doesn't have the quickness for the nickel, and trying to play him there would set him up to fail. If Gilmore came in, you'd shift Bland into the slot. Now, Bland has the versatility to do that, though the ideal situation would still be Diggs and Gilmore outside, Bland sliding in when needed. As for the current slot options, guys like Jordan Lewis, Kelvin Joseph, and Izzy Mukuamu, none of them inspire a ton of confidence. That's why landing a proven veteran like Gilmore could immediately settle things down. Now, Troy Daniels A.K.A. DDT Teddy 1970 threw out an interesting one, Tyler Allgeier as a possible trade target. I love the creativity, but I don't see it happening. The Falcons have Bijan Robinson, sure, but behind him their depth is paper thin. Without Allgeier, they'd be one injury away from disaster. He's cheap, productive, and reliable, exactly the kind of back a team doesn't want to give up. If Atlanta's season goes completely sideways, maybe they revisit that idea, but right now they'll happily keep him as Airbo 2. Tim Roughrider then asked whether the Cowboys would have been better off keeping Trey Lance. To answer that, I compared preseason stats from Lance last year and Easton's stick this year with the Chargers, and honestly, the numbers are nearly identical. Completion percentage, yards per attempt, rushing production, they're basically the same guy on paper. The difference is that Lance still has those highlight flashes, those wow moments that keep people intrigued. But in terms of consistent impact, it hasn't been there. He's still more promise than production. So if you're asking whether the Cowboys missed out by moving on, my answer is no. Right now, it's a wash. Then Lucid Shark asked about Brevin Spanford. The tight end is under team control for 2 more years, with a restricted free agent year after that. So no need to stress there. He isn't going anywhere for a while. We also got a hypothetical from Linton, 20, asking about Trayvon Diggs. What if he comes back healthy, plays well, and looks like his old self? Would you keep him over Bland? Honestly, both is an option. But if you're forced to choose, you take the better player. The problem is, the Cowboys have created such a messy salary situation that they might move on from Diggs almost regardless, even if he outplays Bland. And that's the frustrating part. This shouldn't be an either-or. You should find a way to keep both. Bloodslinger then asked about Parsons. Is there a chance Dallas lets him play out the deal and then slaps him with a franchise tag? Absolutely. Everything is on the table at this point. The relationship has gotten tense enough that nothing can be ruled out. It's not ideal, but knowing how this front office operates, I wouldn't be shocked if they went that route instead of locking him down sooner. And we can't skip this one, not R. Kelly asked about Cam Little hitting a 70-yard field goal for the Jaguars in preseason. 70 yards. That would have been a record if it happened in a regular season game. The guy already hit 93% of his kicks last year, so he's legit. But let's be real now. I want to see Brandon Aubrey try one. Give him the chance. That's must-watch TV right there. Mighty Mouse asked if now is the time to trade for Damon Pierce or Kendre Miller. If the Cowboys actually believe they need another back, then yes, now's the time. Both players could realistically become available depending on how their teams shape out the depth chart. But if Dallas doesn't think they need help at RB, they'll sit on their hands, which, let's be honest, is probably the most likely outcome. Daniel suggested a dream scenario, signing Christian Wilkins and Stephon Gilmore, locking down the defense, and rolling into 2026 as a top 10 unit. On paper, that's awesome. In reality, Wilkins is the concern. Health, rehab, off-field questions. His agent, there's just a lot of baggage there. But yes, a healthy Wilkins paired with Gilmore would absolutely elevate this defense into championship territory. And finally, we circle back to Mazi Smith. Daniel asked what I thought of Mazi admitting he has to do more. And honestly, I like it. Step 1 is recognizing you haven't lived up to expectations. Too many players shrug it off or say they're playing fine when everyone else knows that's not true. So hearing him admit he has to step up is a positive. Of course, words are just words, now it's about action. You can say you're going to be better, but until we see it on the field, it's all just talk. Still, I'd rather hear accountability than denial. And that wraps today's mailbag. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We'll be live for every single Cowboys preseason game, breaking it all down as it happens.